never told us the story of how you met your really old friends.
Rachel, I am so glad you asked. Now remember, I can hardly recall what I had for breakfast today. So my fabrication of events that I'm about to share with you guys may be a figment of my imagination. The events may or may not resemble an actual person, event, or even reality. So where do I begin?
Dad, just give us the short version.
Well, it all started on a stormy day early in November 1960. I believe it was a Sunday.
Dad, our short version, not yours.
Well, all righty then. Let me see. For years, I believed that I met Bruce and Chris first. But now, after actually thinking about it, the first person of the group I met was Lloyd. I don't remember the year, but we met playing hockey, somewhere around 1968. See if you can pick us out in this photo. Our parents would take turns getting up at some crazy early morning hour during the week and again on the weekends. As we were both really superstar hockey players, it was easy for us to bond, as the other mediocre players were jealous of our talents. I think after playing hockey together for a while, we may have started hanging out a little. I don't think it was a lot at first, but I can't really remember. The next person that I met, would have been Chris. I believe I met Chris when I started to play baseball at the age of 10. I don't have any images of this, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. I am sure that a short while later, Chris started coming by as he lived the closest to our Mowbray compound. This part is unclear, but I think that since Bruce was a friend of Chris's and lived on the same street, eventually Bruce started coming around too. Again, none of this is too clear. Chris, what do you remember? Did he answer? Is Chris talking to a recording? Okay, here is where it gets a little tricky. Gord and Martin. Where did they come from? They were on the other side of the park, or the other side of the world, as it would seem to us. Do we dare to hang out with people from the other side of the park? Now, if I have my facts straight, I think we met the infamous D person first through my next door neighbor. D doesn't stand for the devil, but the next closest living person, Darren. Okay, enough about Darren. In 1973-74, Gordon and Martin are now coming by, as well as we started traveling into their neck of the woods. Yes, kids, Surrey was mostly woods back then, and it was uphill in all directions. I remember our ski trips, where we had to ski uphill. Never quite understood that, but you didn't fall as much. I have another version of meeting Gord. It would be through baseball. This could have actually been how we all met. My memory is sketchy. I lost all those brain cells shortly after. So, to this point, we have Lloyd, Chris, Bruce, Darren, Gord, and Martin. Who's next? Now we have Lyndon and Dave. I know that Lyndon brought Dave by after we started hanging out with him. Dave started coming by in grade 9 sometime. I honestly have no idea how we met Lyndon. Perhaps Chris met him first, as something tells me that this may have been the case. After meeting Lyndon, though, our lives became such a rush. I believe that meeting Lyndon opened our small group to a new world of people and experiences. All legal, kids. Our Kool-Aid parties were epic. Drinking too much Kool-Aid led to this. Then this. So kids, keep in mind what sugar does to a person. Avoid sugar at all costs. Now kids, you know how I met my friends, I think. You now know what I need to do next, right? It's time for a few photos. Have a seat. Grade 1 had Lloyd, Martin, Bruce, and yours truly. I now remember that Chris didn't go to Prince Charles. I forget why, as I lived closer to Cedar Hills School than he did. Was it a curse or a blessing? How many faces can you remember? Grade 2 had Bruce and Martin, but the really cool kids were in the other class. Since I can't find a picture of my grade 2 class, it may have been that we were just way too cool to take class pictures that year. At least that's what I recall. Grade 3 had Bruce, Lloyd, and me. Don't remember much else about that year, but then I don't know where the rest of them are. Grade 4 had Lloyd, Martin, and Bruce. I must have been in the remedial class this year. Again, cool kids rule. I don't know what happened to the grade 5 images. Perhaps the teachers were on strike that year. Grade 6 had Bruce, Lloyd, and myself in the class. Grade 7 had Bruce, Lloyd, Martin, and the devil, Darren. Gordon and myself must have been in another class. Now for some sporting info here. Here we have a 1974 baseball shot of Bruce and Chris. In 1975, Lloyd joined Bruce and Chris on the team. Unfortunately, kids, we all had to sign contracts stating that no more pictures could be taken after 1975. I call it the "what happened during this time will stay in this time" clause. But I have one final image for you. Here's a shot from the grad dance with Dave, Bruce, and Chris. I must have been away that day. There you have it, kids. That is how I met my friends, I think. I know that we have all gone our separate ways, but we will always have that bond that connects us forever.
Derek, wake up. Dad's finished his story. Give me the $20 you promised me for asking about his friends. Dad, Derek told me he wanted to know how you met our mother.
Okay, I will get to that in a minute. One more thing. My mother loved to have us around all the time. We were always so respectful and quiet like mice downstairs. When my mother asked us all to leave for the night, we just finished the board game we were playing, chugged down that remaining Kool-Aid in our glass. Then everyone went home peacefully. We were all wide awake the next morning at 5 a.m. to go work on the farms. Okay, Derek, sit back and I will tell you the story of how I met your mother. Get comfortable. It's going to take a while.